My hands are shaking so violently I can barely hold the phone to my ear. The woman's voice on the other end has just said 4 words that have shattered my entire reality. Maya? Is that you? It's her laugh. Oh God, it's her laugh, that soft, musical giggle I memorized from grainy home videos, the one that played in my dreams for 23 years. The laugh of a dead woman. Mom? The word escapes as barely a whisper, and I'm 6 years old again, standing in our old kitchen, watching her make pancakes in her favorite yellow robe. Oh sweetheart, she breathes, and I can hear her crying now. My beautiful girl. I knew your voice the second you said hello. The room spins. My coffee mug hits the floor, ceramic exploding, hot liquid splashing my bare feet, but I don't feel it. I don't feel anything except the impossible truth crashing through my chest like a freight train. She's alive. My mother is alive. But you're... Dad said you. I can't form the words. 23 years of grief, of therapy, of learning to live with the mother-shaped hole in my heart, all of it was a lie. I know, baby. I know what he told you. But I'm here. I'm real. And I never, ever stopped being your mother. I'm sobbing now, ugly tears streaming down my face, my whole body convulsing with 23 years of buried pain erupting all at once. The Misdelivered package sits open on my coffee table, jewelry box gleaming, letters scattered, that impossible photograph of us together 3 months after my world supposedly ended. I've been looking for you, she whispers. Every single day for 10 years, I've been looking for you. This morning I was Maya Chin, orphaned graphic designer, living half a life. Now I'm somebody's daughter again. Now I'm complete. You know how some people say they're living their best life? Well, I was living my okayest life, and honestly, that felt like enough. At 29, I had my little routine down to an art form. Wake up at 6, feed Pixel, my tabby rescue who judges my life choices from his perch on the windowsill, make coffee strong enough to wake the dead, and settle into my home office corner that doubles as my dining room. Being a freelance graphic designer in Chicago means your apartment is basically a studio apartment with commitment issues. My place on Maple Avenue isn't much: cramped kitchen, bathroom the size of a closet, and a living room that moonlights as my office, but it's mine. No roommates, no drama, just me and Pixel and the gentle hum of my ancient MacBook. Most days blur together in the best possible way. Client calls, design revisions, the occasional coffee run to the cafe downstairs where Marcus, the barista, knows my order by heart: large oat milk latte, extra shot, no foam. The usual for the hermit artist, he'd joke, and I'd laugh because it was true. I'd become comfortable in my smallness, in my carefully controlled world. But here's the thing about carefully controlled worlds: they're built around the spaces where bigger things used to be. I kept my mother's photo in the bottom drawer of my desk, tucked under old tax documents where I wouldn't accidentally see it during normal business hours. Elizabeth Chen, my mom, frozen forever at 32 in that faded Polaroid. She's laughing at something off camera, her dark hair catching sunlight, wearing that blue sundress I vaguely remembered from when I was 6. It was the only photo Dad hadn't thrown away after the funeral, probably because he forgot it existed. Some nights, when client deadlines were met and the apartment felt too quiet, I'd pull out that photo and try to remember her voice. 23 years is a long time to carry someone's memory, especially when you were so young when they left. I remembered fragments: the smell of her lavender shampoo, how she'd hum while cooking, the way she'd trace letters on my back before bedtime to help me fall asleep. Dad remarried when I was 8, moved us to the suburbs with Linda and her twin boys. Linda was nice enough, but she wasn't trying to be my mom, and I wasn't looking for a replacement. We coexisted peacefully until I turned 18 and realized I didn't want to pretend anymore. Pretend their family was my family. Pretend Dad's new life hadn't erased everything that came before. I haven't spoken to him in 11 years. Not out of anger, really, just absence. Like when a friend moves away and you both keep meaning to call, except the friend is your father and the move was emotional, not geographical. My social life was simple: coffee dates with Sarah from college maybe twice a month, occasional drinks with other freelancers, holiday texts with extended family who still remembered I existed. I wasn't lonely, exactly. I was just incomplete. Like a puzzle missing its centerpiece, but you've gotten so used to the hole that you forget something's supposed to be there. That Tuesday morning felt like every other Tuesday morning. Coffee, emails, a conference call with a new client about their rebrand. Pixel knocked my pencil holder off the desk, his favorite passive-aggressive move when I spent too long on calls, and I was laughing at his dramatic flop onto my keyboard when the doorbell rang. I remember thinking how strange it was to get a delivery on a Tuesday afternoon. I wasn't expecting anything, hadn't ordered anything in weeks. But life has a funny way of delivering exactly what you need, exactly when you're not looking for it. The doorbell cuts through my Tuesday afternoon like a fire alarm. Pixel's ears perk up from his sunny spot on the windowsill, giving me that look that says, "Are you going to handle this disturbance, or should I?" I pad to the door in my fuzzy socks, expecting maybe Sarah with surprise coffee or the building manager about the leaky faucet. Instead, there's a delivery guy in brown shorts, sweating despite the October chill, holding a medium-sized cardboard box like it weighs more than it should. "Maya Chen?" He glances at his scanner, then at me, then back at his device with a frown. "That's me." "Weird." He wipes his forehead with the back of his hand. "This was supposed to go to 1247 Maple Street, not 1247 Maple Avenue. But it's got your name on it, so?" He shrugs and holds out the package. "Same Maya Chen, I guess. What are the odds, right?" I take the box, it's heavier than expected, substantial, and glance at the shipping label. The return address is smudged from what looks like rain damage, but I can make out E. Chen and Portland, Oregon in faded ink. Chen. My father's surname, the one I dropped professionally years ago but never legally changed. "Are you sure this is for me?" "I didn't order anything." Says Maya Chen clear as day, he says, tapping his scanner screen. "Just need a signature here." I sign his little device, still staring at the box in my other hand. The cardboard is worn soft at the corners, like it's traveled a long distance or been handled carefully, repeatedly. There's something almost familiar about the way it's wrapped, not Amazon efficient, but personal, with extra tape along every seam like whoever packed it wanted to make absolutely sure nothing inside would break. "Thanks," the driver calls, already heading back to his truck. I close the door and stand in my tiny entryway, turning the package over in my hands. No phone number on the return address, just E. Chen in handwriting that makes something flutter in my chest, a recognition I can't quite place. The smart thing would be to call the shipping company, report the mix-up, let them sort it out. That's what responsible adults do with other people's mail. But my fingers are already picking at the corner of the tape, and I'm thinking about that handwriting, about the careful way this was packed, about the strange coincidence of names. Portland is 800 miles away. What are the chances of two Maya Chens living on streets with identical names? Pixel jumps onto the coffee table, sniffing the box with scientific interest. "What do you think, Pix? Wrong address, or exactly the right one?" He meows once, which, in our established communication system, means stop overthinking and just open the damn thing. The tape pulls away easier than expected, like it wants to be opened. My hands move almost without my permission, folding back cardboard flaps with the kind of careful precision you use when you sense something fragile inside. The first thing I see is tissue paper. White, delicate, wrapped around something with the kind of care you reserve for treasures. But it's what's underneath that makes my breath catch in my throat. A jewelry box. Small, wooden, with tiny painted flowers along the edges and a ballerina that spins when you lift the lid. My jewelry box. The one from my childhood bedroom, the one that disappeared when Dad packed up our old house after Mom died. "That's impossible," I whisper to Pixel, but my hands are already lifting it out, running my fingers over the familiar scratches on the lid where I'd tried to carve my initials when I was 7. The tiny brass hinges, slightly tarnished. The way it fits perfectly in my palms like muscle memory. I open it and the little ballerina pirouettes to fur Elise, just like she did 23 years ago. The sound hits me like a physical thing. I'm 6 years old again, watching the dancer spin while Mom brushes my hair before bed. But there's more in the box. Underneath the jewelry box, wrapped in that same careful tissue paper, are letters. A stack of them, maybe 20 or 30, tied with a blue satin ribbon that I recognize from somewhere deep in my childhood. The paper looks aged, yellowed at the edges, like they've been kept somewhere safe for a very long time. The top envelope is addressed in handwriting that makes my heart stop completely, to my darling Maya. I know that handwriting. I've traced it on old birthday cards, memorized it from grocery lists stuck to our refrigerator, dreamed about it in those half-awake moments when grief plays tricks on your memory. But this is impossible. This is Mom's handwriting, and Mom has been dead for 23 years. My hands are shaking so badly I can barely untie the ribbon. The letters slip and scatter across my coffee table like fallen leaves, and I catch one before it hits the floor. The postmark is barely visible, but I can make out a date, March 15, 2001. 3 months after Mom's funeral. This can't be real, I say out loud, but Pixel just blinks at me slowly, like he's saying, are you going to keep talking to yourself, or are you going to read the letter? At the bottom of the box, there's one more thing that makes my entire world tilt sideways. A photograph, color but faded with age, showing a woman and a little girl building a sandcastle on a beach. The woman has dark hair like mine, the same smile, the same laugh lines around her eyes. The little girl is maybe 6, gap-toothed and grinning, wearing a pink swimsuit with a cartoon mermaid. It's me. And it's Mom. And according to the date stamp in the corner, it was taken in July 2001. 4 months after her funeral. I drop the photo like it's on fire, my hands flying to my mouth. The room spins. Everything I know, everything I've believed about my life, about my past, about the mother I buried in my heart at 6 years old, it's all wrong. The letters scatter as I grab for the jewelry box, desperate for something solid to hold on to. But even that betrays me, because when I look inside, there's a tiny compartment I'd forgotten about, and inside that compartment is a folded piece of paper with my name on it in that same impossible handwriting. I unfold it with trembling fingers. My beautiful Maya, if you're reading this, it means the packages finally found their way to you. I've been trying to reach you for so long, sweetheart. I never died. I never left you. I was just waiting for the right moment to come home. The paper flutters to the floor as everything I thought I knew crumbles around me. I stare at that impossible note until the words blur together. Then I grab my phone with shaking hands and dial 411 like it's still 2003. Portland, Oregon. East Chen on Maple Street. The automated voice cheerfully informs me there are 3 East Chens in Portland. I write down all the numbers, but my hand is trembling so badly the digits look like hieroglyphics. The first number goes straight to voicemail, a teenager's voice asking me to leave a message. Wrong EHN. The second rings 4 times before a woman answers, elderly and confused. Eleanor? No honey, this is Edith. You've got the wrong number. The third number rings twice. A man picks up, older, cautious. Hello? Hi, I'm looking for E. Chen at 1247, Maple Street? My voice sounds foreign to my own ears. That would be Eleanor, but she's not here right now. She's at work. Can I ask who's calling? Eleanor. My heart hammers against my ribs. This is going to sound crazy, but I think I received a package meant for her. From Portland to Chicago, addressed to Maya Chen? Silence stretches so long I check to see if the call dropped. Did you say Maya? Maya Chen from Chicago? The way he says my name, like he knows it, like he's been waiting for this call, makes my knees buckle. I sink onto my couch, surrounded by scattered letters. Yes, that's me. How do you? Oh my God, honey. Oh my God. Eleanor talks about you every single day. Every single day for 10 years she's been trying to find you. The room tilts. 10 years? I'm Harold, Eleanor's landlord. Been renting to her since 2015. She's got your picture on her nightstand, carries your school photos in her wallet. Old ones, from when you were little, but she shows them to everyone. School photos. Pictures I remember taking, in that plaid jumper I hated, with the crooked smile because I'd lost my front teeth. That's impossible, I whisper. She died when I was 6. Harold makes a sound like he's been punched. Honey, no. Eleanor's very much alive. She works at the Multnomah County Library downtown. Has for 8 years now. She never told me you thought she was dead. I'm crying now, ugly sobs that make Pixel pad over and bump his head against my knee. My dad told me she died. I went to her funeral. I threw dirt on her coffin. Jesus Christ, Harold breathes. What kind of man? Look, honey, I don't know what happened between your parents, but Eleanor is alive and she never stopped looking for you. She hired a private investigator 3 years ago. Spends half her paycheck trying to track you down. My vision blurs. She's been looking for me? She sends packages to your old addresses all the time. They keep getting returned. She's got boxes and boxes of things for you, birthday presents, Christmas gifts, letters. 23 years worth of things a mother saves for her daughter. 23 years. All those birthdays she missed because she thought I didn't want her. All those nights I cried for a mother who was 800 miles away, crying for me. Harold, I need her phone number. Please. She gets off work at 6. But honey, maybe you should know. Your father, he had lawyers. Threatened Eleanor with papers saying she was an unfit mother. Said if she ever tried to contact you, he'd make sure she never saw you again. She was young, scared, dealing with some depression after you were born. She thought staying away was protecting you. The letters on my coffee table blur through my tears. All those years she stayed away, not because she didn't love me, but because she loved me too much to risk losing me forever. She gave up everything to keep me safe. And she's been regretting it every day since. Honey, when you call her tonight, you're going to give that woman back her life. I hang up and stare at the phone number Harold gave me. 7 digits that lead to my mother. My living, breathing, heartbroken mother who never stopped being my mom. I stare at the phone number Harold gave me until the digits burn into my vision. 7 numbers that supposedly lead to my dead mother. My hands won't stop shaking as I dial, and twice I have to hang up and start over because I hit the wrong keys. It rings once. Twice. On the 3rd ring, a woman's voice answers, slightly breathless like she just ran to catch the phone. Hello? The world stops. I know that voice. It's older, maybe a little raspier than my 6-year-old memories, but it's her. It's definitely her. The voice that sang me lullabies, that read me bedtime stories, that said I love you, sweet pea every single night before turning off my bedroom light. Hello? Is anyone there? I can't speak. Can't breathe. Can't do anything but listen to my supposedly dead mother asking if anyone's on the line. Mom? The word comes out as barely a whisper. The silence on the other end stretches for what feels like hours. Then I hear her intake of breath, sharp and sudden, like she's been underwater and just broke the surface. Maya? Is that really you? And then she's crying, and I'm crying, and 23 years of separation collapses into nothing. Her voice breaks when she says my name again, like she's testing whether I'm real, whether this is actually happening. Oh, sweetheart. Oh, my beautiful girl. I knew your voice. Even after all this time, I knew your voice the second you said hello. But you're dead, I sob into the phone. Dad showed me your death certificate. I threw dirt on your coffin. Oh baby, no. No, no, no. She's crying harder now. I've been right here. I've been right here the whole time, trying to find you. Harold said you got one of my packages? I've been sending them to every address I could find, hoping one would reach you. The jewelry box sits open on my coffee table, the ballerina still frozen mid-spin. The letters scattered across the surface like evidence of a crime that was committed against both of us. The jewelry box with the ballerina. And all the letters. My voice cracks. Mom, what happened? Why did Dad tell me you were dead? Because it was easier than explaining why Mommy had to go away. Her voice turns bitter for the first time. He threatened to take you from me completely, Maya. Said he'd prove I was unfit, that my depression after you were born made me dangerous. His lawyers, they made it sound like I was choosing between staying in your life and destroying it. The pieces clicked together with sickening clarity. Dad's quick remarriage. His refusal to talk about Mom, ever. The way he threw away everything that reminded us she existed. You stayed away to protect me? I thought if I disappeared, he'd let you have a normal childhood. A stable home. I thought I was saving you from a custody battle that would tear you apart. She's sobbing now. I thought I was being selfless, but I was just a scared 26-year-old who let lawyers convince me my daughter was better off thinking I was dead. My heart breaks for both of us, for the little girl who lost her mother, and for the young woman who lost her daughter. But Harold said you've been looking for me. Every single day since you turned 18. I waited until you were an adult so your father couldn't use the courts against us anymore. But by then, you'd moved, changed your name professionally. I hired investigators, sent packages to every Mayachin I could find. I never stopped hoping one would find you. I pick up one of the letters, see my name written in her careful handwriting. 23 years of birthday wishes and Christmas love and bedtime stories written for a daughter she wasn't allowed to hold. Mom, I never stopped missing you. I kept your photo hidden in my desk. I used to dream about you coming back. I dreamed about coming back too, sweetheart. Every night for 23 years. The morning sun streams through my apartment window, and for the first time in decades, I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Talking to my mother. My living, breathing, heartbroken mother who never stopped being my mom. After I hang up with Mom and God, it feels surreal to think that word again. I sit on my couch staring at her phone number written on a post-it note. Such a small piece of paper to hold something so enormous. We talked for 2 hours. 2 hours of catching up on 23 years, of her telling me about her job at the library, her tiny apartment with the window garden, how she volunteers at the animal shelter on weekends because animals don't judge you for past mistakes. 2 hours of me telling her about college, about Pixel, about my graphic design business, about how I kept her photo hidden like a secret. But talking on the phone is safe. Phone calls can end. You can hang up if it gets too overwhelming, retreat back to your carefully controlled life. She asked if we could meet. There's a little cafe in Bloomington, she said, her voice trembling with hope and fear. It's halfway between us. Neutral ground, if that makes you more comfortable. We could have coffee. Like normal people do. I said yes in the moment, caught up in the emotion, the impossible joy of hearing her voice. But now, 3 hours later, that yes feels terrifying. What if we have nothing in common? What if 23 years have made us strangers who happen to share DNA? What if I've built her up in my mind all these years, the perfect mother who was stolen from me, and the real Eleanor Chin is just a woman who made choices that hurt us both? Worse, what if she takes one look at me and realizes I'm not the daughter she's been dreaming about? What if I'm a disappointment? I'm not 6 years old anymore, not that gap-toothed little girl in the school photos she carries in her wallet. I'm 29, independent, maybe too set in my ways. What if she was expecting someone different? Pixel jumps onto my lap, purring, and I stroke his fur while my mind spirals. What if she changes her mind, Pics. What if she wakes up tomorrow and realizes this was a mistake? That some sleeping dogs should stay sleeping? But even as I voice my fears, I know they're not really about her. They're about me. I've spent over 2 decades learning how to live with the hole she left behind. I've gotten good at it. I've built a life that doesn't require a mother, that doesn't lean on anyone too heavily. What if letting her back in breaks me all over again? I pick up one of her letters, still unopened. The address is written in that careful handwriting, sent to my college dorm room 10 years ago. She was looking for me even then, while I was taking Introduction to Psychology and learning about attachment theory, about how losing a parent shapes your ability to trust. But here's the thing about attachment theory, it also teaches you that healing is possible. That the patterns formed by early loss don't have to define you forever. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown Portland number. Maya, this is your mom. I know today was overwhelming. If you need time to think about meeting, I understand. I've waited 23 years. I can wait longer. But honey, if you're willing to try, I'd love nothing more than to see your beautiful face again. No pressure. All my love, Mom. I read it 3 times, and each time, the fear gets a little smaller and the hope gets a little bigger. She's scared too. This woman who gave birth to me, who sang me lullabies, who sacrificed her relationship with me to protect me, she's just as terrified as I am that this might not work. That we might be too broken to fix. But maybe that's exactly why we have to try. I text back, Saturday at 2 p.m.? I'll be the nervous-looking woman clutching a coffee cup for dear life. Her response comes immediately, I'll be the one crying happy tears in the corner booth. Can't wait to hug you, Sweet Pea. Sweet Pea. The nickname I'd almost forgotten. The one that made me feel special and loved and safe. Maybe some things are worth the risk of breaking. The Sunrise Cafe in Bloomington looks exactly like the kind of place where life-changing moments happen. Worn wooden tables, mismatched chairs, and the smell of fresh coffee mixing with old books from the used bookstore next door. I arrive 15 minutes early, order a large coffee I definitely don't need, and claim the corner booth where I can watch the door. My hands won't stop shaking. I've changed clothes 3 times, settled on jeans and the blue sweater that brings out my eyes, the same eyes I got from her. At exactly 2 o'clock, the door chimes, and I know it's her before I even look up. She's older, of course. Her dark hair is streaked with silver, pulled back in a ponytail. She's wearing a lavender cardigan, lavender, like the shampoo I remembered, and she's scanning the cafe with the same nervous energy radiating from every line of her body. When her eyes find mine, the world stops. We stare at each other across 30 feet of cafe space, and I see the exact moment she recognizes me. Her hand flies to her mouth, eyes filling with tears, and she whispers something I can't hear but somehow understand, my baby. I stand up so fast I knock over the sugar dispenser, but I don't care. I'm walking toward her, then running, and she's running too, and we collide in the middle of the cafe like magnets finding each other after 23 years of fighting against physics. Her arms wrap around me, and I'm 6 years old again, small and safe and loved. She smells like lavender and vanilla and home. She's shorter than I remembered, but her hug feels exactly the same, all-encompassing, protective, like she could shield me from everything bad in the world. Maya, she sobs into my hair. My beautiful Maya. Look how tall you are. Look how grown up you are. I'm crying too hard to respond, so I just hold her tighter. She's real. She's solid and warm and here, and every doubt I had about this meeting evaporates. We stand there crying in the middle of a coffee shop while other customers pretend not to stare, and I don't care. I've been waiting my entire adult life for this hug. When we finally separate, she cups my face in her hands, hands that feel familiar despite the years, and studies me like she's memorizing every detail. You have my eyes, she whispers, but your father's stubborn chin. And your smile, I say, touching the corner of her mouth where the same laugh lines I see in the mirror have formed. We slide into the booth, sitting across from each other but close enough that our hands can touch. She pulls out a worn wallet and shows me the school photos Harold mentioned: first grade me with pigtails, third grade me missing my front teeth, sixth grade me with terrible bangs. I've carried these everywhere, she says. Showed them to anyone who'd listen. This is my daughter, I'd say. Isn't she beautiful? People thought I was crazy, talking about a daughter I never saw. You were never crazy. You were just a mother who loved her child. She reaches across the table and takes my hands. I'm so sorry, Maya. I'm sorry I wasn't there for your first day of high school, for your graduation, for every birthday and Christmas and scraped knee and broken heart. I'm sorry I let your father's lawyers scare me into thinking I was protecting you by disappearing. Mom. The word feels natural now, right? You were 26 and scared and trying to do the right thing. I understand. Do you forgive me? I squeeze her hands. There's nothing to forgive. We were both victims of Dad's lies. But we found each other anyway. That's what matters. She smiles through her tears, that same radiant smile from my childhood memories. So what happens now? Now we have coffee. And you tell me everything about the last 23 years. And maybe we figure out how to be mother and daughter again. I'd like that more than anything. The waitress refills our cups, and Mom opens one of her purse and pulls out a small wrapped gift. I brought you something. Your birthday present from when you turned 7. I've been saving it. My 23rd birthday present, 16 years late, but perfectly on time. You know what's funny about healing? You don't realize how broken you were until suddenly you're not anymore. 3 months after that first coffee with Mom, I woke up one morning and realized I hadn't had that dream in weeks. You know, the one where you're 6 years old, standing at a window, waiting for someone who's never coming home. I'd been having that dream for 23 years, and suddenly, it was just gone. Because now I know she was never really gone. She was 800 miles away, having her own version of the same dream, waiting at her own window for a daughter who couldn't find her way home. My apartment doesn't feel cramped anymore. It feels cozy, especially when Mom calls every Tuesday evening, our standing phone date. We talk about everything: her volunteer work at the animal shelter, my latest design projects, the book club she joined because she wanted to have more stories to share with me. Last week, she sent me a care package with homemade cookies and a scarf she knitted herself. Lavender, of course. I moved closer to Portland 2 months ago. Not to the same city, we both agreed we needed to rebuild this relationship at our own pace, but close enough for weekend visits. Close enough that when she had her appendix out last month, I could drive up and hold her hand in the hospital. Close enough to matter. Dad and I finally talked. Really talked, for the first time in 11 years. I confronted him with Mom's letters, with the truth about what he'd done. He broke down, admitted he was young and angry and terrified of sharing me. He thought if he could just erase her completely, we'd all move on faster. He never imagined I'd spend my entire adult life mourning someone who was still alive. We're working on forgiveness. It's complicated and messy, and some days I'm angrier than others. But I've learned that healing isn't linear, and sometimes the people who hurt you were drowning in their own pain. The strangest part? I'm not angry about the lost years anymore. Maybe I should be, but I'm not. Because every moment of pain led to that Tuesday afternoon when a delivery driver knocked on my door with a package that was never really lost, just taking the long way home. I keep that jewelry box on my mantle now, next to new photos of Mom and me. The ballerina still spins to Fur Elise, but now when I hear that song, I don't cry. I smile, because it reminds me that some music never really stops playing. It just waits for the right moment to be heard again. People ask me if I believe in fate now, in destiny, in signs from the universe. Here's what I believe. I believe in love that refuses to die. I believe in mothers who never stop being mothers, even when lawyers and lies and geography get in the way. I believe in packages that find their way to the right person at exactly the right time. Most of all, I believe in second chances. Third chances. As many chances as it takes for love to find its way home. That Misdelivered package didn't just bring me my mother back. It brought me back to myself, the version of me that existed before grief taught me to expect loss, before I learned to live with holes in my heart. I'm whole now. Finally, completely, miraculously whole. And it all started with signing for something that was never really meant for someone else. That Tuesday morning, I thought I was just signing for a stranger's delivery. I didn't know it would bring my mother back into my life after 23 years of believing she was dead. But now, 6 months later, as I sit in Mom's kitchen in Portland, yes, I finally moved here, couldn't stay away, watching her make pancakes in a yellow robe that's remarkably similar to the one from my childhood memories, I understand something I didn't before. It was never a mistake. The delivery driver who mixed up Maple Street and Maple Avenue. The package that traveled 800 miles to find me. The impossible coincidence of two Maya Chens living on streets with identical names in different states. None of it was random. More coffee, sweet pea? Mom asks, and I nod, still marveling at how natural that nickname sounds now, how it fits back into my life like it never left. She pours coffee into the mug she bought me last week, world's most patient daughter, and I laugh because it's true. I waited 23 years for this moment, for this kitchen, for this ordinary Tuesday morning that feels like a miracle. The Misdelivered package sits on her bookshelf now, empty but treasured. Sometimes I catch her looking at it with the same expression I used to reserve for her hidden photograph, like she can't quite believe it's real. That package saved us, she said yesterday, running her fingers over the faded shipping label. But I think she's got it backwards. We saved each other. The package just reminded us that some love is too strong for death certificates and legal threats and decades of separation. That Tuesday morning, I thought I was signing for a stranger's delivery. Now I know the truth, I was signing for my life back. Sometimes the most important deliveries are the ones that take 23 years to arrive, but show up exactly when you need them most. Some mistakes aren't mistakes at all. They're just love finding a way home.